Hello everyone and welcome to Season 5, Episode 29 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in NXT history with match number 22 on our list, which is a first round match in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament between Ricochet and Aleister Black against the European Union of Fabian Aichner and Marcel Barthel from the March 6, 2019 edition of NXT Television. This match, maybe more than any match in this countdown, to me, is the biggest hidden gem on this list. I love this match. This match is very quick. It can't run much longer than 5 minutes, but very much like Oney Lorcan and Lars Sullivan that kicked off the season for us. This is a perfect example of utilizing the little time you have to the absolute most and creating an incredibly memorable contest just by how much you were able to pack in that time frame. The March 6, 2019 edition of NXT Television is my absolute favorite episode ever of NXT TV. It is jam-packed. It's the first round of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. It's got 4 great tag team matches, 3 of which are very similar to this match in that they're short but pack an incredible punch. In addition to this match, there's a great match between Mustache Mountain and the Street Profits, a great match between the Forgotten Sons of Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. I was going to call him Wesley Matthews. Wesley Blake, as well against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and an excellent kind of dream match main event between DIY and the Undisputed Era. But this match kicked off the show. It is the best opener. And this was at a time when tag team wrestling was kind of becoming, quite forgotten in the WWE. You had the revival that had come up from the NXT roster to the main roster that, were kind of trying their best. And, you had the Usos and the New Day, that had some really great matches. But, for the most part, tag team wrestling, it didn't really feel alive and kicking, as much as it really should be. I love tag team wrestling. It's, realistically, it's my favorite type of wrestling. I much prefer tag wrestling to singles matches. So this match in particular really felt like to me at the time that, not that NXT was on the USA Network at this point, it was only on the WWE Network, but let's say that it was, if you were flipping channels and you weren't a wrestling fan or you were a lapsed wrestling fan and you caught this on television, you would immediately go, like, this is a new way of wrestling. This is amazing. And it's something, that AEW kind of uses, quite well with these, kind of tag team openers that can really pack a punch. And that's exactly what this match was. The story here is simple, and we've talked about it a lot on this countdown. But you have this story of 2 singles wrestlers, ultimately against a team, and how a lot of times the team holds that advantage. You could be the 2 best singles wrestlers in the world, but if you're a well-oiled team, you have that advantage, you have that chemistry. And that's on display here, but it also has this great kind of sub-story of it also being, a hierarchy and a pecking order of talent where, what is better? Is it the more established team in Aichner and Barthel, the duo that would go on to become part of Imperium? Or is it the fact that you have 2 of the biggest megastars in NXT currently that are, on their way to the main roster call-up? Does that supersede the tandem? And that's the story we get at play here. And it's like I said, despite how short this match is, it's got so much greatness in it, and that story is just a piece of it. So, the match starts off kind of simple enough. Aleister Black's kind of rolling. He mixes it up with both guys. But, eventually that tag team element, right, that numbers game kind of get the best of him, and he gets a little bit overwhelmed. He jumps into a European uppercut from Marcel Barthel. That allows, I'll call them the heels, even though it wasn't really established. And that's another thing that I love about this match is, Barthel and Aichner basically come into this match, into Full Sail as unknowns, right? They, NXT UK is not really a super big thing yet at this point. These guys, like I said, there's no Imperium at this point. They really hadn't had a lot of airtime. Fabian Aichner got like a run as the Evolve champion, shortly before this. But, NXT fans, maybe not too in tune with that. Barthel, had gotten signed, from from the European independents, specifically, WXW in Germany, as Axel Dieter Jr. And, again, not really a super well name, even to US indie fans, really. So these guys basically come in as relative unknowns as well. And what a showcase that they're given, that by the end of this match, the crowd is borderline in love with them. So, they manage to overtake Black a little bit. They get this opening and they, kind of have a short blast of offense, get a near fall and start to grind them, start trying to isolate the ring. But these guys, they also, have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. So, they cut off Ricochet once, and then Aichner kind of, does it a second time, but spends just a moment kind of like trash talking Ricochet and being like, you're not getting in the ring. That allows Black to, cut his legs completely out of him with a leg sweep, get the hot tag, and then Ricochet just comes in and just completely steamrolls both of these opponents, to the point that he even hits this great springboard European uppercut to Barthel, who just used that move as his cutoff on Black, right? It's basically just completely showing them up and diminishing, whatever offensive run they just got by saying, oh yeah, you want to do your European uppercut? Well, I can do it off a springboard. Like, you guys are so inferior to us. This is our house. This is Full Sail University. This is NXT, and we are NXT, right? But somehow, this motivates Barthel a little bit. He gets this fire in his eyes, and he manages to fight off Ricochet a little bit. And from here, this match just picks up, and it has this insane finishing run that really encompasses half of the match because it's so short. But it's absolutely insane, and it causes the crowd to go completely nuclear, and it does this wonderful job at establishing these new talent. So Barthel kind of gets, fiery, and a blind tag into Fabian Aichner, and it allows him to cut Ricochet off on the top with an enziguri, and he launches him, kind of like a rocket launcher, like that press slam from the top, into Aichner, who catches him in a vertical suplex position and just wipes him out with a brainbuster. And no wasted time, no wasted motion. Marcel hits a tope through the ropes onto Aleister Black to cut him off, and we get this really, really great hot near fall on Ricochet. How does Fabian Aichner follow it up? He busts out that amazing double springboard moonsault of his for another great two. He goes for the spiral bomb, which was his finish. It's the move that won him the Evolve Championship. Ricochet manages to avoid that and hits, like a somersault, like roll through into a drop kick, and looks like he's going to start getting, rolling and go for a dive. But it's that enziguri again from Barthel off the ring apron this time that cuts him off, and it allows Aichner just to nail him with a springboard tornado DDT for another amazing close near fall. At this point, though, and this is what I really love about this match, is you have these guys, this established team that, has been able to use their teamwork and hit all of their big moves. But that's exactly it. They just hit all of their big moves and weren't able to put these guys away. And this is where it kind of creates that hierarchy, like I said, of they're the established team. That's what got them the advantage. But ultimately, can two wrestlers, and I'm going to say this in the grand scheme of NXT, two wrestlers that are not on the level of the main event talent that they're competing with, can that teamwork still get them the Duke? And it leaves them almost flustered, like they're not sure what to do. That allows Ricochet to evade a couple of strikes, make the hot tag to Aleister Black, who comes in with a great springboard double knees. We get one more kind of hope for, the tweeners, the heels, the newcomers, whatever you want to call them, where Black gets posted. They hit a double drop kick. They go for what I'm assuming is going to be a Doomsday European uppercut, but Black slips out, hits a double stomp. Ricochet flies in with the springboard Hurricane Rana on Barthel off the top, wipes Aichner out with the tope on the floor. That great, juxtaposition of that's exactly what Barthel did to Black earlier. Black goes for a lion soul. It gets countered one final hope spot by Aichner into a pinning combination for a really close two. At that point, Aichner is just trying to survive, throws a couple strikes, and out of nowhere gets blasted with Black Mass by Aleister Black, and it's enough for the three. And I love this out of nowhere finish because it fits perfectly into this story of the match, and that's such an established one-shot KO that somebody loses nothing whatsoever in going down to it, and it legitimizes that finisher even further than it already was at this point. I love this match so much. I really wanted to put it in the top 20. Ultimately, I couldn't do it. You know, there's 21 matches on this countdown that I did find better. But the fact that, you know, such a short match, you know, lives, you know, so prominently in my memory, and I hold it in such high regard in my heart, that, you know, it was able to hit number 22 on this list despite being so short, it is absolutely incredible. And again, it just shows, and I've talked about this so many times, that you don't need 20 minutes. You don't need 15 minutes. Hell, you don't need 10 minutes to put on, you know, a remarkable contest. You know, just have a solid story, do something different, don't waste your movement, and make a compelling, competitive match, and it will succeed. And that's exactly what this match did, and it led to, no doubt in my mind, a push for Aichner and Barthel becoming part of Imperium, and another great notch on the belt of Ricochet and Black as they, you know, run through the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. This whole tournament is great. The entire thing is worth watching. This was my favorite match out of all of it. You can, of course, find this match on Peacock. If you're outside of the US, it's on the WWE Network. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so you never miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50. And please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.